Hello students, welcome back. So let's begin our learning of macroeconomics. And now that we are doing the chapter of income and employment determination, and we are done with the first and second segment, which talks about the basic concepts, the equilibrium, break-even, and multiplier and all. So today I have curated a special module of numericals, which talks about all these concepts, and I have tried bringing in all the types of numericals so that nothing is uncovered. So let's begin. And before touching any of the numericals, I'll try to jot down just in a minute all the numericals, all the formulas which you are required to understand, use for the later module. So here we begin, and the chapter began with the concept of AD. AD is equal to C plus I because we are talking about two-sector model. Then AS was equal to Y and Y was equal to C plus S, means income is either consumed or saved. When we talked about C, C is a function of Y and is equal to C bar plus BY, which has autonomous and induced segment. S is also a function of Y, wherein C bar converts into minus C bar and B is written 1 minus B, that is MPS, right? Now we talked about MPC, that is the ratio of consumption with respect to additional income. MPS was the ratio of savings with respect to the additional income. And the sum total of MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. On a very similar note, APC was equal to C by Y. APS is the ratio of S by Y, and both of them together make 1. Sorry, APS is equal to 1. One more thing which you should keep a note of is AD is equal to C plus I. And if we want to talk about this in expanded form, it becomes C bar plus BY plus I. The writers call it I bar because for the whole chapter, I and C bar are the constant values. So they have given a name A bar to the whole of these two, means this and this together makes A bar plus BY. Few years back, you did have a question in board which talked about AD is equal to A bar plus BY, wherein A bar was given, means the combined autonomous consumption and investment was given along with MPC and income. So you were to find AD. So that was a bit confusing for the students, but now I hope it's clear to you. So let's begin. Let's begin with the assignment I have created for you. The very first question is, the value of MPC is greater than MPS. The value of K will be. So we know MPC and MPS together make 1. So if we want to take MPC greater than MPS, it means we can have MPC as 0.75, 3/4, or we can have MPC as 0.9, 90%. So let's find what would be the value of K. So if MPC is 0.75, this implies MPS would be 0.25, and hence K would be equal to 1 by 0.25, that is 100 by 25, and that is equal to 4. So we want to just justify it with one more case, that if we are taking MPC as 0.9, so what would be MPS? MPS would be 0.1, and this implies K would be 1 by 0.1, that's equal to 10. So in both the cases where MPC was more than MPS, I had my answers 4 and 10. So equal to 2 goes, equal to 5 goes, less than 2 goes. So my answer is greater than 2. Okay. Then comes, what is the minimum value of K? We know the value of K is equal to 1 by MPS. You may find it with the help of MPC as well. So what can be, and you also know that MPC as well as MPS both have their extreme values to be equal to 0 and 1. They don't go beyond 0 or 1. So if we put both of these here, if MPS is equal to 0, then K is equal to 1 by 0, that is equal to infinity. And if MPS, the other cases, if MPS is equal to 1, I'm trying to just take the extreme cases, right? So K is equal to 1 over 1, that's equal to 1. So my point is, these are the upper limits of, upper and lower limit of K. So the minimum value of K is 1 and maximum value is infinity. Mind you, it's never ever 0. And most often students do commit this mistake. Now, the question is, if the ratio of MPC and MPS is 4 is to 1, the value of K will be 4, defend or refute. So again, it's a numerical. We have to just check how it goes. So the ratio of MPC with respect to MPS is 4 is to 1. If we just cross multiply, what would be the answer? This gives us MPC is equal to 4 times MPS. So what to do next? We also know that MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. So what would we do? Instead of writing MPC, I'll write 4 MPS. So this gives me 5 MPS is equal to 1, and hence MPS becomes equal to 1 by 5. So if MPS is 1 by 5, what's going to be the value of K? K is equal to 1 oblique MPS means 1 by 5, and that would turn out to be 5. So my statement was given, the value of K will be 4. Is it 4? No, it has come to be 5. Hence it is a false statement and hence it is refuted. Moving next. State whether the statements are true or false. The value of K varies between 0 to infinite. We have just done this in question number 2. So it's not from 0 to infinity, it's 1 to infinity. So this question stands false because it is, we have just proved it, it is 1 to infinity, the value of K. Then when MPC is 0, the value of K will also be 0. Let's check it out. For solution of B, what am I doing? K is equal to 1 over 1 minus MPC. And when we talk about MPC is 0, so let's put it 0. So 1 minus 0 is equal to 1. So my answer is 1. And it says the value of K will be 0. Hence this stands false because the K has come out to be 1. Now, the third statement says if the planned investment falls short of planned saving, then the stock of goods tend to pile up. I'll try to just show it with the help of diagram also. Then we'll talk about this. That we had this as saving function and this has investment function. And they say investments are short of savings. It means savings are more. This is the region they are talking about. And where is our equilibrium? Equilibrium is this point where S is equal to I. So they are saying about this region that if the economy is in this region, the stock of goods tends to pile up. Yes, because this is a situation where the planned savings are more. So savings are more than investment. It means people are not spending. If they are not spending, it means the stock would simply tend to pile up. Hence, this statement is true. Now, the value of MPC is double the value of MPS. Find the value of multiplier. So, MPC is double the value of MPS. Find the value of multiplier. What do? We'll simply try to use this formula. MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. MPC is equal to 2 times MPS. So what would we do? We'll try to write 2 MPS plus MPS is equal to 1. 3 MPS is equal to 1. Hence MPS comes out to be 1 by 3. And if MPS is 1 by 3, then K is equal to 1 oblique 1 oblique 3. That's equal to 3. So answer is 3. Moving ahead, economists are generally concerned about the rising MPS in the economy. Explain why. So when we talk about rising MPS if is rising means savings are higher. If savings are higher, then consumption is lower. And if consumption is lower, then expenditure is lower. And if expenditure is lower, so aggregate demand is down. And aggregate demand is down means national income is down. So this chain simply says there would be less flow of income would be disturbed. So would be less. Hence we say that MPC when is good, higher is good for the economy, and when MPS is higher, that's bad for the economy. So let's proceed to question number 7. Question number 7 says, in an economy, the equilibrium level of income is 12,000 crore. So equilibrium income, Y is said to be rupees 12,000. K is given out to be 4. So calculate the additional investment required to reach a new equilibrium of the income of rupees 20,000 crore. So what is the new case? Now additional income would be, so the final income required is 20,000 crore. So the change in income which is required is 20,000 minus 12,000, that is rupees 8,000 crores. Now, we know K is equal to 4 and that's equal to delta Y by delta I. So, what would it be? We have this is equal to 4. So, we'll use this equation. 8,000 divided by delta I would be equal to 4. And this gives us 8,000 by 4 is equal to delta I, and that's equal to 2,000. So we need 2,000 crore rupees more. Rupees in crore would be written to bring the new equilibrium income at the level of 20,000 rupees. I hope this is clear. Now moving ahead to the next question. And the next question says, if MPC is zero point 0.9, what's the value of K or multiplier? So MPC is 0.9. This gives me MPS, and MPS would be 0.1. And hence K would be equal to 1 oblique 0.1. That is MPS, and that gives me 10. The value of K is 10. How much investment is needed if the national income increases by 5,000 crore? So they have given me another piece of information that delta Y is equal to rupees 5,000 crores. So they say how much investment is needed. If we just try to think about this, that things are getting multiplied 10 times. It means if I want to reach at 5,000, how much initial investment would be required? 500. So let's justify it with the help of numerical. So K is equal to delta Y by delta I, and 10 is equal to 5,000 divided by delta I. This implies delta I'll just transpose it here, would be equal to 5,000 divided by 10, and that's equal to rupees 500 crore. So point is, these things are very easy. Once we are done with the answer, we should understand, we should try to relate it. Is it relatable or not as per our understanding? So let's continue doing. The increase of 250 crores in investment resulted in the total increase in the income of rupees 1,000. What does it mean? They are giving you delta I as well as delta Y. So delta Y versus delta I is K. We know, and we'll just put the value to get the answer. The investment was 250 and the income generated was 1,000. So it means they are trying to give us the value of K here, right? So first is find MPC. So if we have found K, then K is equal to 1 by MPS. So this implies MPS would be 1 by 4, and this implies MPC would be 3 by 4, because this is first segment and rest all three segments would be MPC. Right. Now, second is change in saving, change in consumption, and K. K we have already found. So when we talk about change in saving and change in consumption, we know MPC is equal to delta C by delta Y. Now we have MPC also and delta Y also. So this will give us delta C, that's equal to MPC into delta Y. So what is MPC? MPC is 3 by 4, or you may write 0.75 as well. Into delta Y is 1000. So that becomes 250 and hence it is 750. So my answer is rupees 750 crores in this case. And the question is, next question is change in the savings. So change in savings delta S would be what? I have two alternatives to find this. One, we can use MPS into delta Y and that's equal to 1 by 4 into 1000 and that's equal to 250. And the alternative method of this is The alternative method of this is we know that change in income results in change in consumption and change in savings. So if we are finding change in savings, we can simply use this formula as well, that change in income was 1000 and consumption was 750. So this had to be 250. So it's your good wish how and which way you take out the second value. Next question is, in an economy, an increase in investment leads to increase in income with 3 times more the increase in investment. This is the most crucial thing which you have to keep a note of. 3 times is okay, but there is a word 3 times more. Now let's write what it is saying step by step. Here we are given that increase in income is equal to the 3 times more increase in investment. So try and understand it's not 3 times, it is 3 times more in the investment. It means this is 4 times the investment. Whatever little value was put in the economy, 4 times it became the income, right? So now calculate MPC. So we are given this ratio, delta Y is equal to 4 of delta I. So can we find something? Yes, delta Y by delta I becomes 4. It is nothing but the value of K or multiplier. And we know the multiplier is equal to 1 by MPS. This implies that MPS would be, if 1 by MPS is 4, so MPS would be 1 by 4 and this clearly gives us that MPC would be 3 by 4 and we are done with this question. Moving ahead, I hope you are able to get all these and there is something or the other tricky in every question. So just keep on learning so that you don't leave any sort of numerical. In an economy with every increase in income, 10% of the rise in income is saved. This is nothing but there's a clue given, there is one value given, one variable given in the statement. That with every additional income, the part of savings is 10%. It means they have given us MPS is equal to 0.1. How? Because MPS is delta S by delta Y. And they say out of every 100 of increase, 10 is saved. So this is nothing but 0.1 and that is equal to MPS. And they say suppose a fresh investment of 120 crore takes place in the economy. So investment of 120 crores is happening. 120 crores. Calculate the following: change in income and change in consumption. So we are done. MPS is there with us. So can we find K? K is equal to 1 upon MPS. And that's equal to 1 upon 0.1 is 10 value. So if K is given, and delta I is given, we can easily find delta Y. How? Because K is equal to delta Y by delta I. So it means we have delta Y equal to K into delta I, and that's equal to K is 10, 10 and this is 120. So answer is 1200. This is it. So what is the value of change in consumption? We know change in consumption means we are required to find MPC. MPC is equal to delta C by delta Y, and we have everything now to find delta C, because this gives me delta C is equal to MPC into delta Y. And what is the value of MPC? When MPS is 0.1, so MPC would be 0.9 and delta Y is 1200. So what is going to be the answer? The answer is this decimal goes with this, and the answer would be 1080 crore and rupees. I hope this is clear. Let's begin and let's continue doing the next question. And the next question is, S is given out to be minus 200 plus 0.255. So let's write it down. S is minus 200 plus 0.25y. The moment S function is given, I feel like, yes, we should find C function unnecessarily also. If this is required or not, because maybe this gives you half a mark that the examiner knows this understanding on your part. So how do we do it? We simply take the opposite value, the positive value of this first variable, and 1 minus of this value to get MPC. Now, if the economy is in equilibrium at equilibrium level of income at 2000, so why equilibrium income is given to be rupees 2000 crore, right? So calculate the investment expenditure at equilibrium. So we are required to find I and the autonomous consumption C bar and the investment multiplier K. So let's do one by one. C bar is very clear. This is C bar. So C bar comes out to be 200 crore rupees. What is K? For K, we'll use this MPS. So K is equal to 1 oblique MPS is equal to 1 oblique 1.25, and that's equal to 4. So my K happens to be 4 here. Now the last is I. We know at equilibrium, S is equal to I. So when S is equal to I, so what would we do? We'll use this minus 200 plus 0.25 into y, right? So they say this is my I. So the only variable which is unknown here is y, and y is given out to be 2000 here. So how to proceed further? Minus 200 plus 25% of 2000, and that's equal to 500. So this comes out to be 300 rupees crore, and I'm done with my answer. Point is, whichever numericals and whichever formulas were listed at the top of this document, all those formulas only are getting used up. So we have come close to our end. Still three formulas, three numericals yet left. S is equal to minus 50 plus 0.2 y, right? And y is 2000 here. So consumption expenditure for the economy would be this, true or false. So at this moment, what am I required to find? I'm required to find the consumption expenditure, and consumption is nothing but 50 plus 0.8y. Why did I do so? Because I simply changed the symbol here, minus to plus, and I subtracted this value from 1. So, and the equilibrium level of income also is given, that's equal to 2000. So, what is 8% of 2000? So that becomes equal to 1600. And if I just add it up, it comes out to be 1650. This is rupees and crores. So they say consumption at this data is 1650. Is it true or false? Yes, this is true, and we have just tried to show it with the proper calculations. Now, I have willingly taken this hilarious figure because we most often take the multiples of 10, 5. But the point is, if this type of question comes to you, how would you manage? They say, assuming that increase in investment means the beginning of the investment multiplier per process, right? That happens with 900 crore rupees, and MPC is again not point 0.1, point 0.2, point 0.5, it's point 0.6. So how would you give the working of multiplier? Let's begin with the solution. Let's create the table of delta I, delta Y, delta C, and delta S. So what are the values? If we are beginning with 900 and this in the very first round becomes 900 as the income, so 60% of it would be consumed. So that is 540 and 360 is going to be the left out, that is 40%. Now this consumption becomes the income in the second stage, and then 540 here, and 60% of 540 would be 324, and the 40% would be 216. Now what would we do? We'll simply try to give the dotted notation of the other rounds, right? And how would we show the values at the bottom? We know that K is equal to 1 by MPS, and this is equal to 1 by zero point 0.4, and that happens to be 10 by 4, that is 2.5, right? So the things are multiplied, the income is multiplied 2.5 times. Hence, if you just check out the 2.5 times of this 900, that gets out to be 2250. Now, out of this 2250, the 60% of this 2250 is 1350, and the 40% is 900. So this way, if we just show the working, then all the marks would be given to you, and this is what is required whenever we're talking about multiplier mechanism, right? So this type of schedule is required, and this schedule is not completed unless and until we show these values, right? So 2250 also, how can we show that the increase in income is equal to K into the initial investment, and initial investment was 900 and K is 2.5 times. So that's why I wrote 2250 here at the bottom, right? I hope this is clear. And now let's move to the last question. The last question says measure the level of ex ante aggregate demand, means AD is required when autonomous investment and consumption expenditure. This is the same formula I just talked about a moment before, that AD is equal to C plus I and C is equal to C bar plus BY plus I. But both I and C bar both are autonomous in nature. So this formula is also given a notation of A bar plus BY. It means if for AD we are given A bar, that is this value, and MPC is given, so MPS becomes 0.8 and Y becomes 4000. So it is merely filling the values, that is AD is equal to A bar is 50, MPC becomes 0.8 because MPS is given to be 0.2, and the level of income is 4000. So my answer is 50 plus 3200, and that's equal to 3250. So one segment of my question is done, that the value of AD comes out to be 3250. The second question, whether the economy is in equilibrium. What is the situation of equilibrium? Equilibrium means AD should be equal to AS. Right. And AD is this. AS is nothing but the income. What is the value of income given? Income is given to be 4000 crores. But here AD is 3250. Because AD is not equal to AS, so the economy is not in equilibrium. I hope the session was fruitful for you, and I hope all the things are clear. If you still have any doubts, you're welcome to give me your rewards back, and I'll be waiting for you. Now, let's close this. Bye bye. See ya. Have a good day.